Hey babes, it's Jenni Prokopy and you're here with me for another AWAP Wednesday. AWAP stands for as well as possible, and in all things chronic babe, that is what I wish for you, to be as well as possible no matter how sick you are. Today in Chicago, it is below zero with wind chills in the -30s, and it is freaking cold here, so I am hanging out by the fire, wrapped up in a cozy blanket, just trying to keep my warm vibe going while I plug away on chronic babe stuff, my favorite thing to do. Today's AWAP Wednesday, it's the 1st of 2015, and I want to jump in on a theme that I've been talking about in our subscription program, Secret Club, and that is change. This is the time of year when so many of us have New Year's resolutions that we're working on, and we're thinking about how we're going to change for the better, what we're going to do differently. So I want to talk to you for a second about why, as chronic babes, we sometimes resist change, and a really small thing we can do to kind of change that process for ourselves, to kind of kickstart ourselves into embracing change. One of the biggest reasons that I think that we resist change, I know for me in the early years after I got diagnosed, I was just really pissed and really resentful because I was having to make all these changes in my life, mostly limitations, mostly trying to work with limitations, and it wasn't because of anything I did, and it felt really unfair. I know that it wasn't really realistic, but at the time I felt kind of like I'd done something terrible or I was being punished. A lot of us go through that. A lot of us have that feeling that we've done something wrong, or we look for someone to blame, or we look for something in ourselves to blame, and we focus on that kind of negative energy instead of saying, okay, well, what can I do? Instead of beating myself up. One of the things I think we need to start doing as chronic babes is stop bullying ourselves when we're sick. Stop trying to blame ourselves, stop trying to dig super deep for a reason behind why we're sick, because we may just be sick for no good reason and it may not have anything to do with anything that we've done. A big reason why we resist change is that it's scary. And this is one of the hardest things for me in my life in general and with chronic babedom. It is scary. It's scary to do something different. And a lot of us have to make enormous life changes, change our careers, change our plans about having kids or not, change where we live or who we live with. I mean, there's so much that we have to change, and it's scary and we don't know what's going to happen. This kind of thinking really holds us back. In reality, we never really know what's going to happen. We can gamble on some outcomes, we can predict some outcomes, we can try to figure out what's going to happen, but the whole truth of it is that we're never truly going to know exactly what's going to happen. When we stop ourselves from changing, from making positive changes because we're afraid, because of unknowns, we are letting this big question mark rule our lives when in fact we could be making positive changes that really help us. Now, I understand this from personal experience because this is really like one of my biggest fears and stressors. I always want to know what's going to happen. I want to know what it's going to look like. I want to know what it's going to feel like. I want to know where I'm going to be. I always want to know. And people who love me and are around me all the time are always like, you don't get to know. The thing that I want to challenge you to do today is to think about your life as an action thriller with a little bit of mystery thrown in. Someone I know said to me quite a few months ago now, said, can you stand the suspense? That was a trigger that she encouraged me to try using that is a different way of thinking. So when we go from thinking like, I'm worried, I don't know what's going to happen, to, ooh, I can't, it's so suspenseful. You go from being afraid to being thrilled and excited because you're like, what's going to happen? And this was at first a really difficult concept for me to grasp, but I've been really working on it a lot. And I think it's something that can really help a lot of us. When we are driven by fear, it's like we hit a big wall and we can't get through it. But when we're excited, when we're thrilled, when we're enjoying that feeling of suspense, like what's gonna happen? I'm so curious. It's such a more healthy, enjoyable place to be. What is my little trick for trying to employ this strategy? I try, whenever I'm freaked out about something I don't know what the outcome's gonna be, maybe a change I'm making, maybe a change someone else is making, maybe something I'm just waiting for somebody to do, I don't know what they're gonna do. I try to get back into that sense of suspense. I try to think about it as like a, oh my gosh, it could be a cool surprise. Going back to the gym and working out some more. Maybe you're afraid to do that. Maybe it could be cool. Maybe it'd feel great. Maybe you think you can only do 10 minutes and the next day you do 12 and you'll be like, whoa, I did 12 minutes. And it's a tiny, tiny incremental change, but you'll be so excited. You just don't know everything that's possible for you. You can't. Life is a mystery. Life is so full of surprises all the time. You just don't know what's possible for you. I don't know what's possible for you. I don't know what's possible for me half the time. If we're open to the possibility, of amazing stuff to come and of like positive change as a huge impact, I think that it's a lot easier for us to make those little changes that even get us started. I really encourage you to get curious, to think of yourself as a moviegoer and you're watching your exciting life go by, and sometimes there are things about that you don't love, but sometimes there are surprises. I know this might be a big leap for some of you, and it was honestly a really big leap for me, and I'm still working on it a lot, so make no mistake, I am not the expert on this, but I have been doing it for a while and it is helping a lot. So give it a try. I'm really curious to hear what you think. This is a time of change for everyone. It's a new year, and I think it's a perfect time to think about this concept and try to put it into action in our lives. Thank you so much for being with me on this AWAP Wednesday, this chilly AWAP Wednesday. Of course, I have friends in Australia right now who it's 100 degrees there and they're roasting their nookies off, so sorry guys. If you like this video, I hope you'll consider sharing it with a friend who might be in need. We have a whole year's worth of AWAP Wednesday videos over on our YouTube channel, so check it out. If you want to join the conversation, if you want to tell us how you've approached this topic or what's worked for you, or if I'm full of it, hop on over to the website and to the blog and comment on this post. If you like what you see, I really encourage you to sign up for the newsletter so you don't miss a thing. Every week I send it out. I let you know about what's new on the site, videos I've made. I'm working on a book. So I want you to be the first to know when it comes out. Subscribe to the newsletter. Head on over to chronicbabe.com and you can do it today. Okay, that's it. If you have a question to ask me for future AWAP Wednesdays, please do let me know. You can put it in the comments below or you can send me an email. I hope that you make this week fantastic and that you don't freeze or boil. Just take great care of yourselves. Be AWAP. Mwah. Beep. And despite Mother Nature's